Welcome to the Southeast Retirement Planners podcast, where we will go beyond the balance sheet with our guests, not only to share from our personal experience as financial advisors of over 25 plus years, but also to learn from our guests about the issues and topics that are important to them. Our firm specializes in taking care of the financial plans for individuals and small businesses by helping our clients identify their individual goals and taking a conservative and ongoing approach to helping accomplish them. We are located in Hickory, North Carolina, and look forward to continuing to serve our clients and our community. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoy this week's episode.
Hello and welcome. I am Ryan Edwards with Southeast Retirement Planners, and on behalf of Southeast Retirement Planners and Les Stewart, we'd like to welcome you to the Southeast Retirement Planners podcast. Today we are going to be speaking about some important birthdays that occur for individuals once they turn 50 years old. So,
I thought you were going to reference my birthday.
Well, you're sneaking up on that very closely, so that should be in the works and something that you should adhere to or pay attention closely to. This is a lot of people, you stop kind of having half birthdays. I don't know. I think maybe some of my kids' friends celebrate half birthdays, which I didn't know was a thing. My parents didn't do that.
My kids have birthdays for half the year, it feels like sometimes.
Right. My wife has a birth month.
Right.
But after age 50, you actually do need to start paying attention to the and halves. So we're going to cover some of those things today. And this content came from an article found on our website. So we would encourage those individuals that are unfamiliar with our firm or don't currently work with us to find out some information, as well as some information like these articles. You can find us online at seretirementplanners.com, seretirementplanners.com, and there's not only is it a way for clients to log in and see their accounts, but it's also a very safe, secure site, but it also has some very good resources, such as articles like the one we're going to be talking about today.
And you can find the SRP podcast on there, too.
And past recordings of podcasts are on it. So your entertainment awaits at that website. So make sure you check that out. But as we get to going, one of the other things on the website is the asset map software that we reference. I actually talked to a client about it today. You go on the website and under Make a Plan, you're going to find the asset map, a link to do your own asset map. And that's basically a way to look at everything financially for you and your household in one view, one page, if you will. So we always, if you're watching this podcast, instead of just listening, you can actually click on the QR code that's on your screen, and it'll take you to it. So, but let's dive in, Les, to some of this information on the important birthdays over the age of 50. And I guess we need to start out at age 50.
Yeah. So at age 50, there's the event that happens financially for you there is you can add more to your retirement savings.
Exactly.
So it's called that's called the catch-up.
Catch-up. So that's not just for IRAs or Roth IRAs. It also is those individuals participating in company retirement plans, 401ks, 403bs, 457 plans.
Right.
Mainly those entities or those plans are with government entities or educational systems. But then also simple IRAs, simple 401ks, they have the catch-up provision.
Right. So in your IRA, you can put an extra $1,000 a year away in a traditional and a Roth, correct?
That's correct. And
an extra $6,500 a year into your to fully fund your 401ks or your company retirement plans.
That's correct.
And I think that's a really nice provision. A lot of times, I know myself early on, I wasn't able to save as much because income wasn't as high and kids were expensive and all kinds of things. And so, my plan is as I get into that age 50, that'll start lightening up. I'll be able to, chunk a little more away. So I think that's something that we see a lot of people take advantage of.
We do. And that's, it lowers your tax bill overall. You're able to pay yourself, other than Uncle Sam is one of the ways we say it. So As we go forward, age 59 and a half is the next birthday to kind of another age that you need to pay attention to, and that's where you have the ability to make withdrawals from a retirement plan or a traditional IRA and void the 10% penalty. There's still tax involved.
Right, but if you take it out, in most cases, not all cases, but in many cases, if you take it out before age 59 and a half out of any of your what we call qualified retirement plans, which is IRAs, 401ks, that kind of thing, you'll have a 10% IRS penalty on top of your income tax that you have to pay when you take withdrawals. So
we get asked that a lot.
Yep.
It's kind of one of the more knowledgeable people are most knowledgeable about that date, I find, in conversations.
Yeah.
It is a good one. Now, age 62 is another that kind of comes up, and that's the date in which you're first able to draw Social Security retirement benefits.
Right. It used to be back in the day, everybody looked forward to just age 62 and 65 when you're talking about Social Security. And we have that's probably one of our more question dates for people's ages is, do I take my Social Security at age 62 or do I wait to full retirement, which is not necessarily 65 anymore. It used to be.
Yeah, it's all the way up to 67 and higher.
Yeah, a lot of times people these days are 67 when they're retiring. But, that's you can take it, but it's at a smaller amount than on an annual basis than if you waited till full retirement age.
Right.
But that's an important date. It's probably a lot of times that's when people really start seriously thinking about that retirement, period.
Right. And that's not just a cut and dry. There's not just a calculation of, hey, my reduction's been, the reduction of my benefit's lower, but, it's going to take, if I wait, it's going to take me so many years to make up that difference. But, are you ready to stop working?
Sure.
And if you do take your retirement through Social Security early, but you continue to work and you earn, well, the limit in 2021 was right at $19,000. I think it's gone up slightly now, but just very little. But if you earn over that limit, then you're going to be penalized $1 for each benefit, $2 in benefit. So just something to pay attention to, and that's the reason we help individuals navigate through that. So it's not just cut and dry. Find out from an individual like ourselves or call our office. We'd be happy to walk you through that process. But once you get up to 65, that's another big date.
Yeah,
again.
And we said that most people that are retiring now, 65 doesn't apply to Social Security much, but it still applies to Medicare.
Yeah.
Right.
And Social Security Administration, they recommend applying 3 months before the age of 65 to Medicare, and it's important that you if you're already receiving Social Security benefits, you automatically be enrolled in Part A and Part B without an additional application. But some people think, well, if I'm still working, do I need to sign up for Medicare? And yes, the answer is yes. And
that honestly may be as big, if not a bigger benefit than Social Security for a lot of people because the cost of health care coverage these days is through the roof. And so you definitely want to take advantage of that date.
Yeah, don't miss out on that. That's a big date, and you don't want to be penalized for not signing up because you don't get a redo on that. And then there's kind of a period of time, if you will, between 65 to 67, and that you already referenced that without us putting a date to it, if you will.
Yeah, so, depending on when you were born, if you were born after, 1955?
Yeah, right.
Each year after that, you're kind of, they basically put it out, it looks like when you look at the scale, like a month, each year is an additional month of Social Security, or that you have to wait to take full Social Security benefits. But that's when you can pull your full retirement benefit from Social Security, and that amount only goes up with as they raise the inflation benefit with your Social Security, and that's a date that if you can wait for, in many cases, not all cases, but in many cases, that's when a lot of people want to take Social Security. There's times where it makes sense to take it earlier, but we try to focus in on that date a lot of times when we're planning for somebody.
Definitely. And then you don't have limitations on your income at that level. Once you hit full retirement age, then you can make as much money and you're not penalized as much money as you would like. So, and now there was some changes made under the Secure Act, and the Secure Act was a provision that's come out here in the last few years out of COVID, if you will, and that period of time. And they, in essence, moved back the required minimum distribution.
Yes, the
age.
RMDs.
Yes.
People in our industry throw out RMD, and I'll say that to a customer, and they kind of look at me like I'm talking about some kind of nuclear weapon or something like that. But it's that is required minimum distributions, which means that the IRS is requiring you to start taking distributions and pay taxes
on that money,
on the money that is in your retirement account.
And that's not just IRAs, but also any other money that you may have in a defined contribution plan or a retirement plan. Now, there is a provision that if you're still working, you may continue to contribute to the IRA past age 70 and a half under the Secure Act, as long as you meet the earned income requirements, meaning you have to have an earned income in order to make a contribution. So, so anyway, if it used to be 70 and a half, but now it's age 72.
Correct.
All right. So,
and I believe there was a window of time between the Secure Act where if you turn 70 and a half, you may be able to wait, and you can't. I think we're to the date now where everybody has to wait till age, or can't, waits till age 72 is when their required minimum distributions kick in.
So if you're listening to this or have a parent, or relative, friend that's going through these age birthdays, especially this one, you want to make sure that you're not losing out on anything you're supposed to get, but you also, when it comes down to taking your RMD, you want to make sure you take it out because you don't want to be penalized.
Right. So just knowing these ages does not mean that you know everything, but it's important to know that something needs to happen. I think that's the key to this is remember those ages, those birth dates, and know that something important financially needs to be discussed and considered.
Exactly.
But everybody's situation is different, just like everything we talk about.
Exactly.
So that's where you want to consult with your financial professional and get some answers. And we'd love to, have a conversation with you about that.
Well, that pretty much sums it up for today. Once again, we kind of pulled this information, as we said, from an article on our website.
Yeah.
And those are great resources. SERetirementplanners.com is where you can find this. And what we cover today is about a 4-minute read time that'll go into a little bit more detail on each one. But we are certainly glad that you joined us today. And please like and share this podcast to anybody you think would find this information interesting and helpful. We offer a complimentary financial checkup to any individual we don't currently work with by simply calling into our office, or you can find us online too, obviously through our website, a way to book an appointment with us. So we'd love to sit down with you and have a conversation.
And another thing, if you're listening to these podcasts and there's a topic that interests you and that we haven't covered, you can go through find our email on the website. Send us a topic. We may cover it. We're always looking for good, interesting topics to cover on the podcast.
It's a good point. Good point. Well, we're happy that you joined us. Thank you for your time, and we'll look forward to catching you on our next podcast. Thank you.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member of FINRA, SIPC. Southeast Retirement Planners is not affiliated with LPL Financial or registered as a broker-dealer or investment advisor.